Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jorvik. In today's video, I finally react to Ren, the Money Game Trilogy. This has been a long time coming. I think this has been a series of songs that has been recommended to me since I did my first Ren video. If you haven't seen me before, I have reacted to Ren before. I did Hi Ren, and I also did the Tale of Jenny and Screech. You can find those linked below. I know my output on the channel has been pretty lackluster lately. It's just because my, one real world job as well as my filmmaking stuff has been kind of picking up lately. As some of my viewers know, I'm working on my new short film, Evermore. Still looking for donations. If you like to donate to the project, there will be a link in the description and you can check that out. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. So there's three songs. It's Money Game, and then Money Game 2, Money Game 3. As far as I know, Money Game 2 does not have a music video tied to it from what I've seen, but we do have the lyric video, and then I also have a live version of the song as well that we'll check out later. But I have been told that these are probably some of the most cinematic videos that Ren has done so far. As a filmmaker myself, I'm really excited to kind of watch these, listen to the music, and break down some of the imagery, and just kind of give my 2 cents of knowledge about how filmmaking works. Of course, narrative film and music videos are a little bit different, but the techniques are the same. So that's what we are going to be looking at. There will be timestamps as well for each reaction and talk breakdown of each song. So if you want to hear a specific song, you can, do that. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below what other songs from different artists or Ren that I should check out next.
It's a strange time we're living in. War can put fear in. Hierarchy parties, they make us feel inferior. Greed runs through parliament interiors. Devils walk among us, they fit the criteria. Eerie theory, strife, fearing, weary-minded men. When we're clearly living in dictatorships, nearly blinded by illusions to choose who's fooling who. A ball chained to your shoes on pain. It's a crying shame. The pursuit of our own wealth lights a flame that makes greed a game that lets this whole war burn. As the world turns, the whole world burns. But money was invented for trade, but now those bits of paper twist hearts, make slaves, turns a saint into a sinner, a child into a killer. His finger on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way.
Sorry to dude, I miss his voice so much. I haven't listened to Ren in a long time, so just hearing him hit those notes, I love it. Really quickly out of the gate, I love the imagery here. You're right, it is very cinematic. I can tell there's a lot of grading going on. It's filmed on an actual cinema camera from what I can tell. Probably an FX3, maybe an FX6, could be a Sony A7S III. I'm not for sure, but good grading going on. He kind of has that vibe of the Riddler from the Batman. That's kind of like the look I can see going on here. Yeah, let's go back to the beginning of this little break here.
Of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way. And those who rise through distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we like to point the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this old money game. Stop.
Love it. This guy's a hostage. It's cool.
Dear Mr. President, it's evident that everyone's a resident of fear when they support these ideas to keep us separate, when they make us believe that everybody is coming to terrorize you in the streets. They say badly through gritted teeth, that's my right to hate, that's freedom of speech. But when did freedom become a reason to hate? A way to justify a racist slur or insult we make? There's an irony in freedom, cause us in the West, we have pillaged and plundered the murder that savages colonized all of the rest. That's called hypocrisy. Preach a certain value that you never keep yourselves. Your country was in flames, you denigrate yourselves in a second. Still you spit your venom, demonizing immigrants when really you're the immigrant, cause all of us are immigrants or descended from immigrants. Irony is imminent, I'll shed the light on immigrants. America was colonized by Britain. Britain, it was colonized by Rome, and also colonized by the Saxons. They were German, by the way. You know how people throw shade upon the Germans because of history's pain, and yet we made the same mistakes all again. Demonize a whole people, Jewish or Muslim, the same and the same. Old situations play on repeat, the same old TV shows repeat. Yeah, we worship the bleak. Our opinions aren't our own, and we follow like sheep. There's no left, there's no right. In the middle we sleep. Rain, 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 rain.
Okay, all right. So, first of all, even though I know this song's, I think, a few years old, but it's just so remarkable how, you know, that whole verse is essentially just what it feels like now, you know, especially as an American, like what's going, because I know I have international viewers, and I know it's not great everywhere, but America is really going through the whole fascism phase right now. And I assure you, not all Americans are like what you see on TV and on the news. That we are actively trying to fight back against that. So it is very interesting to see, you know, him talking about immigrants, because it's true. I mean, America, especially, you know, was founded by immigrants. I mean, we were the British were the colonizers, you know, and they wiped out the native populations, and you know, remnants of that culture is still around, but it's not as strong as it was before the British came. And now with, not to get too political, but now with, you know, with the whole fascism thing again, and with the Trump administration going after immigrants, especially specifically brown and black immigrants, and sending them to a concentration camp in El Salvador. Like, that's what it is. There's no, you know, way of, you know, describing it elsewhere. But and then bringing in South African white immigrants is also just happened recently. So there's a lot going on over here, and just hearing that, you know, especially from a British person, the king of colonizers is what it feels like, you know. It's pretty poignant, and I think it's, you know, this is the type of music that transcends time and transcends, you know, like its own little, like it's not like dated. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can listen to this 15 years ago and you could be like, okay, yeah, no, I understand. You know, listen to it now. You know, you understand. You can listen to it from 15 years from now and you can understand. So I do like that.
The stormy worship the bleak. Our opinions are our own, and we follow like sheep. There's no left, there's no right. In the middle we sleep. Rain, 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 rain. The storm, it comes our way, and those who rise through distorted lies, poison in the veins. But we'd like to point the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game.
Obviously, it's not real gasoline. I hope. Ooh, man, he's cut. Just kidding. That does look like gasoline. Obviously, it's not. Hopefully. Okay, so let's quickly talk about Money Game. Good song. It is a very. I've said this before, and in some of his in the previous videos, he has that kind of slam poetry, right? That kind of that rap style that's more dramatic than it is kind of to a beat. I don't know. You kind of know what I'm talking about. But I do really love one, the setting. It's just this old like subway station, it seems like, and the lighting as well. I think that lighting is all practical. It doesn't look like there's any external lights, which does help sell that illusion. It is interesting, the imagery of him dousing himself with gasoline and presumably setting himself on fire is a form of protest. A lot of people have done that in the past, have protested various regimes by setting themselves on fire. I think it didn't happen recently in America, but I think that was like a MAGA person. I don't remember fully, but I think that happened a few years ago. I think there was something like this. I'm really curious to see what Money Game 2 has to offer and what it has to say. Again, there's no video for it, but we'll go ahead and dive in right now. Continuing the same musical motif.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show. America, Britain split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding, resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only
Correct me if I'm wrong. Britain, isn't 10 Downing Street where the Prime Minister lives? Is that correct? I believe so. Just like how in America is it 1900 Pennsylvania Avenue? I think I've been to the White House. You think I would know what the address is, but correct me if I'm wrong. I believe 10 Downing Street is where the Prime Minister lives. Yeah. So right off the bat, this one is not holding back. I mean, it's clear as day what the message is based off the news footage that's going on. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know, like I mentioned earlier, I know these songs are a few years old, so this is probably when Brexit was happening. We did see a clip of Boris Johnson, who is essentially just Trump, but British. And then, like, obviously the parliament of in England just, debating. So, yeah, I mean, that stuff is still happening. Just recently I saw that again in America, things aren't looking great for your average working class people, and a lot of things are being passed. A lot of things have been, brought to the floor about taking workers' rights away. I know the state of Florida is talking about getting rid of child labor laws, so kids at 14, 15 years old can work overnight shifts on school nights. Like it's pretty insane, like what's going on.
Resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain while my fingers on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way.
Bringing back to chorus.
And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we died upon the blame. It's easier to blame. But point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game. Money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step one, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step two, gotta make the people think that they want them, really want them, really.
I was gonna mention that the diamonds. Diamonds to me aren't really that, like, there are cooler minerals out there, but the whole diamond thing is also exactly what he's talking about. There's this perceived shortage of diamonds, so they're in sense rarer. When in essence, that's not true. You know, they're hoarding them. Of course, that's just one example. It's like this for a lot of different things, but yeah, I just thought he did mention a diamond, so I thought I would bring that up.
Pile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step two, gotta make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste, man. Free, it's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be a new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. 4, expand, expand, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. 5, why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6, guns, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7, press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States. 8, big smile, make big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. 9, polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10, the world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain, rain, rain,
Later
rain.
alliteration.
A storm, it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we died upon the blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game. This old.
So yeah, like I mentioned, the message is clear as day. I mean, there's no other way you can really fight exactly like what he's trying to say. I mean, yeah, it's disgusting. It's one of those things. Again, obviously, I've never been outside of America, but I'm sure Europe goes through this. Probably not as bad as we are going through it, but yeah, like everything is so privatized over here that everything just costs astronomically, just way more than it would anywhere else. I'm sure a lot of my foreign viewers know the American healthcare system, not great. Everything is privatized. There's no like universal healthcare like other developed countries have, and a lot of it is just based off of profit. And we as capitalists, we have this way about us, well, at least, you know, the companies here, that they have to continuously make profit. It doesn't matter if your company can make $25 million this year, but next year it has to make 27. Like there has to be continuous growth in this free open world market that we have. And because of that, you're seeing wages being stagnant. You're seeing, a lot of jobs being outsourced to places like China and India, Taiwan, Mexico, that kind of stuff like that. And then we have our politicians come and they blame those countries for stealing our jobs when it was us who put those jobs over there in the first place. Now, to me, doesn't bother me. Look, I'm one of those people who, I know this is kind of like really kind of hippy dippy to say, but like, I don't believe in borders. I think borders are so stagnant. I think they're so archaic. I think archaic is probably the right word. I'm one of those who believes in a free earth, who believes in free open trade, who believes in just loving one another. Because to me, like, obviously racism is a thing, but like, we are only one race. We are the human race, and it's just a lot of people don't see it that way. We're all statistics to these corporations, and nothing is going to change until, we as a people fight back. And especially in America, that's slowly brewing. I know that, man, this kind of like radicalized me. It's crazy. But here in America, we are ready to fight, and we will do what it takes to take our country back. So just leaving that out there. But we're going to go ahead and move on to Money Game 3. I'm really curious to see how this thread kind of carries on into that. So let's go ahead and dive in. Piano. Interesting. Is that the same guy that was playing guitar in the first part? That'd be really funny. Oh, what a cool shot. Oh yeah. Dude, my camera brain just like came to that shot. That was pretty cool. Most likely they probably used a gimbal for that. Be pretty hard to do those full shots if you were doing it handheld. But let's go ahead and continue. Sorry. Whew. Clean transition. Good job, Sam. Oh, that's Ren. That's crazy. I didn't know he could play piano. He's giving me some photo shoot ideas. It's kind of cool. Sounds like Violet.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man.
A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns that truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here, son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket.
Sorry, I wanted to find a good place to stop, just to kind of talk about. First of all, really cool one take that's going on here. I know he's kind of notorious for that. A lot of his videos. I didn't mention it in the first part, but it was also a perceived one take. This is a pretty good allegory, I think, to just the this is gonna sound insane, but you guys are gonna have to like bear with me. This feels like just like the toxic like masculinity of what it means to be a man, right? And it's that type of thing that is, you're not a real man, like you're not a real man unless you have value, right? And that's kind of like that alpha male like bullshit that these dudes put out to young men, saying like, hey, if you don't make a lot of money, no one's gonna want to be with you. You're not high value, right? And I think, you know, this recurrence of his dad coming in and saying like, even at 30, I mean, he's a successful businessman, you know, millionaire presumably, but it's not enough. So he's resorting to, you know, nuclear arms deals. He's resorting to, you know, drug and cocaine deals. Like it is kind of, again, that's just how I'm perceiving it. I don't know if that was the intention with this, but to me, this feels like a dig at the alpha male kind of red pill mindset.
Side of his pocket. 35, he gets a call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack, I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed up, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion, heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck.
And this is what I like about Ren. You know, I've discussed this in the previous videos as well. Is the storytelling aspect that he has. Not a lot of artists really have anymore, and that's why I think he is one of those like once in a generation artists, because I mean, you can sing all day long, you can tell a little bit of stories in your music, but visually you can see like you're going through basically this whole life of this guy. See right there, what just happened there? See how the camera went behind him? They could have cut there, and so now this is a new take. This is what I was talking about with a perceived one take. You'll see it a lot, like in movies. I think I mentioned this in another video as well. That if something crosses like if a one take is happening, and something crosses the camera, most likely there was a hidden cut there. So that's, I'm assuming, is what happened here. There was another one earlier as well that I noticed. I didn't point out those when he first walked to the mirror. I believe there was also a cut there because the camera crossed his shoulder, much like it does here. And then close, cut, and then new take. Filmmaking 101. An orchestra, well, quartet, you know what I mean.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Cut the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy. Community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution?
Cool. So he did bring up what I was talking about earlier, that borders and all that stuff, it's just so archaic now, and that we as a species are so social, and especially with social media now, that it's just become more and more like I have more international friends now than I do friends that are here in America. It's just because I just connect with so many people, and that's what I love. And this whole thing about this kind of toxic masculinity, this patriarchy that is coming back, well, never left, but it's just out in the front now. Fascism and like all of these divisive topics, these talking points that they spew out, that immigrants are bad, and that only white people or the superior race, like that just horrible rhetoric. And it's just like, to me, dude, I love people, like there people that I hate, absolutely. But to me, I love connecting with people. I love connecting with you guys, and just this whole mindset of what I'm getting out of this, it's like you can have all of this power, right? You can spend years of your life building this career, building this wealth, building this empire, but at the end of the day, it's all going to crumble down. We all die the same. We all look the same, and we're all remembered the same. And for most of us, that is not at all. We're not remembered at all. And I may be reading too deep into this, but that's just what I'm gathering from all of this. So
law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution?
Yep, the poor fighting the poor. That's what they want.
Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface, then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game."
Man, dude, this guy just writes. He just spits fire. Look, obviously that was a fake gun, because I'm pretty sure in England you can't just like have a pistol like that. I could be wrong, but I know they have stricter gun laws than America does. Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to what I say, you know, like this character, what was his name, like Jimmy or something, Johnny, that he spent his whole life trying to be a man that his father wanted him to be, and at the end of the day, nothing. You know, he obviously kills himself, but it's just a lot of that is, I mean, this is a real problem, you know, like this goes to what does it mean to be a man, you know, and like, again, at the end of the day, you can be you can be this great businessman, but it's still a money game. You know, someone has to make money at the end of the day, and if that costs you your life, then all well, you know. And I think that's part of what this is supposed to be, because like, I know the world is very complicated right now. There's so many hands and so many different things, you know, and there's this illusion of choice when in reality, at least in America, you know, there's this reality, this illusion of choice that, you know, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to buy this brand of cereal over this brand of cereal. But in reality, they're owned by the same company. You know what I mean? And it's just, there's only like 7 companies, and like all of them own everything that we use. And so they all make money at the end of the day. And that's just kind of what it's like. And, you know, with things that are just, prices are going up, you know, like they talk about the price of eggs. It's kind of a meme at this point, but it's only just because, you know, there's the avian flu going around a lot of chicken farms here. But a lot of that is because, you know, our commander-in-chief just, you know, they gutted the FDA, you know, so a lot of that stuff just kind of doesn't get checked, and it's almost like they're doing it on purpose, you know, so we have to rely more on the government, and that just gives them more of a reason to control us, which more than they already do. And us people on the left, I mean, I don't really consider myself a left person. I mean, I am more in the middle. Us people on the middle and the left, you know, we can see through that. You know, we can see through all of this bullshit that these politicians, that our president, you know, these fascist fucks, excuse me, that we can see right through all of it. And it's just the people on the right, they can't. You know, they think that we can't. They think that they can see through it. And it's just not true. And again, it's more complicated than that, obviously. But it's still just... This, I think, video came out a year ago around... But I know these songs have been out before that. So it's just kind of crazy. You know, the last few years, I mean, again, all of these songs are relevant to today. I mean, I know a few years ago, in the grand scheme of things, is not much different than now, but things are getting progressively worse, and it's going to continue to get worse until we do something about it. And I know me sitting here just talking into the camera about it is not really helping, but believe me, I got things planned to the point where I could be put on a list one day. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, no, I'm really glad that I sat down and finally watched this trilogy because I'm going to keep saying it. It speaks volumes to what's going on today, I guess is what I should say. But anyways, guys, that'll be it for this reaction video. I was going to watch the live action version, or the live version of part 2, but I think I'll save that for another video. As always, like I mentioned earlier, if you like this type of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also leave a comment for other artists and music that I should listen to. My name is Jorvik. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.